Shalom to the 144,000 rest of you elect out there. Shalom to you all. And I'm going to make this short. Let's see where the spirit takes me. Anyway, I'm laying back and off of this video that I haven't even watched the whole thing. But I got to the part where the so-called Bishop Nate started speaking. Anyway, I'm going to entitle this video, GMS first taught you about the CBDC, BRICS, etc. So this is put up by GMS Hawaii Bar Christians lacking when it comes to prophecies. No, that's not what I'm. This is my old, the title that's currently showed up. Kept this title. This is not the actual title of this video. You know what I'm gonna do? Let me do this. This is 3 minutes in. Let me bear with me for a minute, y'all, so I can get the correct title.
All right, Shalom, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, and Kodash. I want to say good double honors to the apostles and the bishop elders of Bridge. Well, let it play. Bridge, and he's going to break that down wrong, too.
And we were listening to this last night. He wasn't, two years ago, he wasn't speaking about the BRICS, and at least I haven't seen it. And the CBDC, let the record reflect that we here at GMS been telling you about the CBDC, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, I don't know. We've certainly been teaching you about the MOTB. The CBDC is going to eventually be put into your hand, your right hand, left hand, forehead, brain chip.
Because he don't understand what the BRICS is, right? He has no understanding of what that is. He said, well, let it play.
Posed. Listen, I gave you something called the BRICS Bridge. It says the BRICS Bridge is a proposed, listen, read it. Yes, that's it. Woo, Lord have mercy. What's your name? Yuri, come on, I'm sorry.
The BRICS Bridge is a proposed digital payment platform and financial messaging system being developed by BRICS. The BRICS represent is an acronym for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. And there's other nations that are part of it, but they use the acronym BRICS. Oh, there it is right there before me. I'm reading Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and extended members. So you can go to Google and put all the members of the BRICS nations. So they're coming up with a money system like an American-based SWIFT system. The SWIFT system, I think he mentions that too. He's been watching us. You know, he talks like we talk when it comes to this stuff. The SWIFT system is a money system that, let me see, let me do this. Okay, let me do this. What is the SWIFT system all about? Let's see what comes up. The SWIFT system, Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunications. In other words, if you ever leave the country, I went to Mexico, I went to Canada. Both of those countries, you had to switch the U.S. dollar, the Fed, into that money, the peso. What was the name of the dollar in Canada? Somebody helped me out. And I went to Canada 2 times. And you got it. But no, in Canada, you can use U.S. dollars. They'll prefer, if you go to a restaurant, if you got U.S. dollars, they'll take that because they know the U.S. dollar is stronger. It says a secure global messaging network that enables financial institutions worldwide to send and receive information about international money transfers, like this is what the petrodollar is all about, the world reserve currency. If China wanted to buy oil from Venezuela, which they did, that's what that whole thing was all about with the U.S. going down there, and they went from drugs to blocking oil tankers because those oil tankers were going to China because they had made I believe it was either $50 billion deal, China and Venezuela, or $5 billion deal for X amount of years. So basically, they just blocked it. They said, "Oh, he was a drug dealer. He was this. He was that." It says worldwide to send and receive information about international monetary transfers and other financial transactions. Now, under the World Reserve currency, headed by the U.S., the World Reserve currency was under Great Britain during the World War II. After World War II, which ended in 44, 45, you had the World Reserve currency went to the U.S. Okay, that's a whole nother topic. Acting as a standardized communication backbone rather than a fund holder. No, what happened was when you exchange money under the SWIFT system, the U.S. is getting their cut, like the mafia. So you can understand. You can do some more reading on this. Okay, so the BRICS is the BRICS is setting up their own Swiss system. Let me do this. What is the BRICS money system all about? What is the BRICS money system all about? What is the BRICS money system all about? The BRICS money system isn't one single thing, but refers to the bloc's efforts to create alternative payment systems and reduce dollar reliance, the U.S. dollar, using local currencies for trade like Russia, China, yuan, ruble, and developing new platforms like BRICS Pay, which is sort of like the SWIFT system, right? For decentralized transactions alongside historical use of T-BRICS as currencies. I got to look into that. All aimed at a more multipolar financial world. Current BRICS initiatives de-dollarization, meaning we're not dealing with the American. That causes war. We're not dealing with the U.S. dollar. T-BRIC, let me look this up. T-BRICS as currency. See, this is what we do here at GMS. This is what we do. And see, once you go into things like this, the BRICS, the Swiss system, the IMF, the World Bank, and so forth, you understand that it leads to the mark of the beast. So if Nate is going to talk about this, he's got to mention that it's going to lead into the mark of the beast. What is the CBDC all about? Let me see. T-BRICS as currency. T-BRICS. I can't even eat. Yes, T-BRICS were a significant form of currency, money, actually currency, especially in China, Tibet, Mongolia, and Siberia, from around the 9th to the 20th century, valued for trade, paying wages. So, in other words, the BRICS nations, the BRICS alliance, they want to cut out the Federal Reserves. They want to cut out the U.S. dollar, which is going to cause war. So we got that. Let's come on back here. Give me a second. Where are we? Okay, here we go. Let's listen up.
The BRICS Bridge is a proposed digital payment platform.
Digital. The BRICS Bridge is a proposed digital payment, CBDC, central bank digital currency, is a digital payment system. Everything is going to be digital. So BRICS have their own proposed digital payment platform and financial messaging system being developed by BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and others, and expanded members as an alternative, I guess, to the U.S. dollar, to the petrodollar, to the world reserve currency, which is going to cause wars. So these nations, they're building up financially, economically, but guess what? They're set up militarily as well.
And financial messaging system being developed by BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and expanded members. Go ahead. As an alternative to Western-dominated systems like SWIFT, aiming to...
Didn't I just mention that? I didn't even know that was going to be brought up. So for Bishop Nate to bring all this stuff out, that means he knows it's ultimately going to lead to, he knows that it's going to be a digital system. No more paper money. Most of the time I go to BJ's and certain other stores where to pay, what do you, South Pay, whatever. Most of the times, sometimes the option is dollars or credits or debits. The last 3 times was nothing but debits, man. So I could take out my bank card, credit card, whatever, and swipe it, and I'm good to go. But I would rather pay it in cash. I'm just used to paying. I'm old-fashioned, I guess. But they're getting the world slowly to switch over, get used to a digital system.
To facilitate, SWIFT is a system America set up with the U.S. dollar to do buying and selling with nations, countries.
And you can see that Bishop Nate is trying to sound like us. He be watching us, man.
Good. Aiming to facilitate trade.
And you notice how he emphasized buying and selling with nations and countries, right? Remember he said, big nations, small nations. That's the embargo. He don't know what the fuck he's talking about, bro.
Reduce reliance.
Right. If he, like I said, maybe he's paid not to see. But if you're talking about BRICS nations, if you're talking about the SWIFT system, if you're talking about CBDCs, which is right here, central bank digital currencies, right? Technologies, proposed digital system, right? You would have to know that it was down the line. It's going to lead to you getting the mark, the chip in your right hand.
On the U.S. dollar, the reduced setup with the U.S. dollar to do buying to Western-dominated systems like SWIFT, aiming to facilitate. SWIFT is a system America set up with the U.S. dollar to do buying and selling with nations, countries. Good. Aiming to.
And what he's forgetting to say is that's really a system that's set up based upon the world reserve currency, the digital dollar. The U.S. has to get a cut of any transaction made with oil. Venezuela, China, they have a deal. They got to switch it over to U.S. dollars so they can get a cut. Like now, when you get your EBT card, when you get your money, it goes to a banking system, and they get a cut. Years ago, they didn't do that. So they don't want to do away with the EBT system or the welfare system or whatever, because the banks, every time there's a transaction, somebody getting those cards, they're making money. So that's in a larger scale. It's talking about the petrodollar.
To facilitate trade, reduce reliance on the U.S. dollar, reduce reliance on the U.S. dollar, and enhance financial autonomy using national currencies and potentially CBDCs, central bank digital currency.
Like I said, we've been talking about CBDCs 5-6 years ago. As soon as it came up, we were talking about CBDCs. He's just waking up to the CBDC, which is going to lead digital, central bank digital currencies. They're going to do away with paper dollars. Everything going to be credit cards. Then they're going to do away with credit cards, and it's going to be a bank card with your bank. Then it's going to be a central bank. Now they're saying that the central bank ultimately is going to go to London, and then from that debit card, credit card, whatever, bank card to the central bank of the planet, everything's going to be chipped. Everybody around the world is going to be chipped. So that digital, that CBDC is going to be in your hand.
Things going digital. That's why now you realize y'all can pay bills on your phone. You go into a store and just boop. That's in your right hand.
Wait a minute. Did he slip?
Currency. Everything's going digital. That's why now you realize y'all can pay bills on your phone. You go into a store and just boop. That's in your right hand. It's in your hand, by the way. Go ahead.
Now, what he's saying is, I'm going to let it play. We just caught him. He said it's in your right hand, meaning your phone, you're using your phone because the phone is in your hand. But wait a minute. What if you're left-handed and you got the phone and I can swipe the phone or the credit card with my left hand. Matter of fact, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that. I'm going to use my card. I'll film it and show you that I can do it with my left hand. So he's being slick. Let's listen to this again. Beautiful work. Goodbye, Yahweh.
Central bank digital currency. Everything's going digital. That's why now you realize y'all can pay bills on your phone. You go into a store and just boop. That's in your right hand.
That's in your right hand. No, that's a part of it. That's one step closer. In your right hand is not the phone. Now it is the phone, but you can use your right hand, your left, your left hand, whatever. But ultimately, you're gonna get that chip. They're gonna make this debit card thing with the central bank. They're gonna make it obsolete because people lose their cards. People can hack your card. So they're going to put in the chip. So when you pay for something, they know it's you because you the one that got the chip that matches the information. You know, this is you. Picture comes up. The guy can see that you paid or whatever.
It's in your hand, by the way. Right?
This nigga's a piece of shit. Hey, this guy is a...
So he slipped. He stuttered when he said it too. He realizes... Give me a second. He realizes that he in his mind he's saying that GMS might be right, them bums might be right.
DC's central bank digital currency. Everything's going digital. That's why now you realize y'all can pay bills on your phone. You go into a store and just.
I can take my debit card, all my credit cards that I have. I used to have a bunch of credit cards back when I first started getting cards, and then I cut them. I got a prepaid card, which is like a debit card, prepaid debit, which I hardly ever use. I got a bank card, and then I got one credit card in case I got to rent a car or something like that. They want an actual credit card with a bank, not a bank card. But most of the time I use a bank card, right? So you mean to tell me he didn't realize that he slipped? That's why I keep playing it.
That's in your right hand. It's in
see how he said right hand, and he said, yeah, let's listen to it again. So he can see it, but now he's got to be slick. He's got to hope that he got to hope that his zombies did not remember what he said 10 years ago.
Digital. That's why now you realize y'all can pay bills on your phone. You go into a store and just boop. That's in your right hand. You go into a store and just boop. That's in your right hand.
It's June.
You go into a store and just
chip. Ain't no microchip.
That's in your
June.
right hand. Currency. Everything's going digital. That's why now you realize y'all can central using national currencies and potentially CBDCs. Central bank digital currency. Everything's going digital. That's why now you realize y'all can pay bills on your phone. You go into a store and just boop. That's in your right hand. It's in your hand, by the way. Go ahead.
This nigga's a piece of shit. Hey, this guy is a snake, man. He's a snake oil salesman, bro. He's doing all of this to cover his ass. So when the chip is instituted and that's the only way you're gonna buy and sell, he gonna say, look, I already told you about that. It's in your right hand, bro. So your cell phone is in your right hand. Currently mine is in my left hand. Right? My cell phone is in my left hand, right? But this, according to Nate, this is all the MOTB. This is the mark of the beast, right? It's in your right hand. Let's listen to this again. What, nigga?
G's like autonomy using national currencies and potentially CBDCs. Central bank digital currency. Everything's going digital. That's why now You realize y'all can pay bills on your phone? You go into a store and just boop. That's in your right hand. This is in your hand, by the way. Go ahead. Through technologies like distributed ledger technology, DLT, for secure, independent, and efficient cross-border transactions. Raise it up. Key goals and functions. Alternative to SWIFT. Creates an independent payment infrastructure, reducing vulnerability to political pressure and sanctions. Now, I'm going to say this. You can take that off. Venezuela was selling oil to China in the yen, not US dollar. That's members. Go ahead. As an alternative to Western-dominated systems like SWIFT, aiming to facilitate... SWIFT is a system America set up with the US dollar to do buying and selling with nations, countries. Go ahead. Aiming to facilitate trade, reduce reliance on the US dollar. See, reduce reliance on the US dollar. And enhance financial autonomy using national currencies and potentially CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. Everything's going digital. That's why now you realize y'all can pay bills on your phone. You go into a store and just boop. That's in your right hand. This is in your hand, by the way.
Oh, this nigga's a piece of shit. So anyway, Nate's lying about the digital current. Sloppy. Nate's lying about the mark of the beast, trying to equate CBDCs with paying your bills. And those are totally two separate things, right? So real quick, before I get the info, and this is Proverbs chapter 24, verse 21. My son, fear thou Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and the king. So we fear Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and so we're not going to be changing his word to suit our own ideologies and our own, schemes, right? Because the reason why men switch this doctrine is because they get paid off for the most part, especially these leaders, right? Supposed leaders. They switching the doctrine because they took a payday, right? So they got to say it's something else. So this, and by doing that, that shows you don't fear Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. But the Lord tells us what? My son, fear thou Yahweh Bashem Yahushai and thy king, and meddle not with them that are given to change. Right? Don't meddle with those that are given to change. And this guy Nate, right? Nate the snake. Where's it at? This guy right here, Nate the snake, he's given to change. Right? The mark of the beast is everything else except what is written in the scriptures and what the apostles and the bishop elders have been telling us for decades. Right? Because you notice Great Millstone's stance on what the mark of the beast is has never changed. Never. Right? It's only been proven through the things that are happening. We've been telling you from the apostle Tahar on all the way down to the rest of us brothers, been telling you that the MOTB was a mark of the beast. The MOTB is the RFID microchip implantable device that they're going to use to forward this new buying and selling system, right? And it's going to be a controlled system, and that's what CBDCs are. It's controlled money, right? Control. It's central bank digital currencies, but it's controllable. It's programmable. So that meaning that the central banks can program the money to only buy certain things. And it can also be extremely highly tracked. This is the reason why they have the ledger system, going back to what they call the, what was that? Well, it's the ledger system is called something. I can't remember that word. I'm trying to remember the word. But the ledger system, it's called, it's right on the tip of my tongue. But it's part of, a ledger system is part of the whole system, right? They needed that to track how everybody's money is spent. I can't remember the name. Oh man, I can't remember the name. Maybe one of you brothers can put it on a comment board. But the point of the matter is that that's what that is. It has nothing to do with paying your bills online. And to prove that, I went to the chat and I asked chat. I said, is comparing CBDCs to being able to pay your bill, it should have been bills. It says bill, pay your bills online misleading. CBDCs has nothing to do with paying your bills online. And it says you're correct. Comparing CBDC, central bank digital currencies, to paying your bills online is misleading and often intentionally so. And that's what he's doing. Nate is intentionally misleading his congregation and those that listen to him, right? Online bill pay and CBDCs are not the same thing at all, even though both involve digital money, right? It says why the comparison is misleading. Online bill pay already exists without CBDCs. When you pay bills online today, you are using commercial bank deposits, private payment rails, ACH, Visa, MasterCard, Zelle, PayPal, etc. Your money is privately held, intermediated by banks, not programmable by the government. And that's what the new system is going to be. It's going to be programmable by your governments, right? And it's going to be set up to make it seem like it's the perfect way to save you in this digital
This guy put this video up 5-6 years ago. There's an individual by the name of George Gammon, and he goes all in. He does one video, which I did the video on. It's on my Odyssey page. I put it up. I think on YouTube at one time, maybe 5-6 years ago or more. Then I put it up maybe 2-3 years ago on my Odyssey page, and he breaks down the ultimate central digital. The central bank is going to be out of London. It's going to be a world bank, and then from there it's going to go into the chip. But he doesn't mention it as scriptures. He just says that it makes sense. Anyway, listen up.
Transformation and takeover, right? Because your fiat currency is not going to be worth anything anymore. And your privately held money in these banks, which is digital fiat currency, let's say that, digital fiat currency is not going to be no more good. So they're going to introduce through stable coin. That's why America is hopping on the stable coin train. They're going to use UBI, Universal, excuse me, Universal Basic Income, which that is going to be money given to you by the government, but it's going to be programmable. It ain't going to be no open check. You ain't going to be getting $2,000 a month and going to buy Louis bags and buy a whole bunch of toilet paper, right? No. You only can buy certain things with it at certain places, and it's going to expire. And that's how they're going to gradually force you into the MOTB. It might start with a card, like one of the elders said. It might start with a card, something like this, but eventually it's going to be tethered to the mark of the beast, that RFID microchip that's going to be put in your hand or in your forehead. Okay. So what this guy is talking about is completely misleading, right? Again, your money is privately held, intermediated by banks, not programmable by the government, not issued directly by the central bank. CBDCs do none of this the same way. What CBDC actually is, CBDC is a direct central bank money issued and recorded by the Federal Reserve or equivalent. Oh, I just had the name. It almost came to me. What is that shit called? It says it's issued and recorded by Federal Reserve. Blockchain. The blockchain is the ledger system, right? That the CBDCs are going to use. Potentially held in centralized or permissible wallets, capable of rules, conditions, and controls. This is fundamentally different from digital banking. Key differences. Simple table. Who issues the money? Feature. Commercial banks, online pay. Who controls the ledger? Banks and payment networks. Programmable money? No. So right now, the money that we use to pay for digital things, like he reduced it to paying your bills online, has nothing to do with CBDCs. It's not programmable. They don't have the ability to restrict spending. expiration of funds. They don't do that. Direct state surveillance is limited. Financial intermediaries, yes. So it's why people make the comparisons. This is just paying bills online argument is usually used to reduce public resistance, to normalize the idea that everything's going digital. Everything's going digital. And then he said, and you can use your phone to pay it, and it's in your right hand. You see? Avoid discussing control mechanisms. Frame CBDCs as a convenient upgrade instead of a monetary system change. It is rhetorical reframing. It's rhetorical framing, not technical accuracy. The real issue isn't digital, it's control. You see? And what did Aaron Russo and Alex Jones, they had that conversation, and what they said is total control. The CBDCs is total control, and they're going to control you by way of that RFID microchip. It's gradualization, but they're going to speed it up. Something's going to happen where they're going to force the people to take this RFID microchip and tell you that this is the new way of buying and selling. Your digital MasterCard, you're paying with your phone, your tap and go pay with your cell phone, that's going to be ended. Right? Fiat currency is going to be phased completely out. Right? No more tapping with your cell phone. No more buying what you want. They want to know everything you buy. Right? And they're going to only do that via the chip. So, yeah, man, I just wanted to bring this out. This guy, Nate, man, he's a snake oil salesman, bro. That's why he's turning into a snake. Look at his neck. Right? Look at that leather on his neck. Look at that. Right? He's a snake oil salesman, bro. That's exactly what he is. And he's hiding it. Right? Through his words and his turtlenecks. Right? It spells in Shalom on to the next. In Shalom.
Give me a second here. So he definitely sees it. He definitely sees it. Let me do this. Let me have a little fun with this here. Okay. Let me see. What the IUIC's Israelites take on Revelation 13, 16. I'm sorry. And 17. I'm sorry, let me do this. $17. Let it come on up. Did it come up? Okay. IUIC's interpretation of Revelation 17, historical and anti-futurist, not sci-fi for microchip base. They read it economically and ideologically controlled under Esau Edom system, not a literal implant. Okay. Now, if you put in GMS, replace IUIC with GMS, give you something totally different. The passage, the beast, Esau, Edom, modern white people structure. The mark is not a microchip. The IUIC explicitly rejects microchips, barcodes, vaccines. Nope, they did say to take that RFID implants. Instead, they teach the mark is symbolic of alliances and compliances, which makes absolutely no sense. Right hand action. Now you did say the right hand slipped. Labor IUIC teaching right hand what you do, what you do, your works, your participation in the system. Well, you got a 501c3, so you're participating in the system. Receiving the mark in the hand means the work or enforce or benefit from the B. Right after you take the literal mark, the chip. Forehead, mind state, mindset, identity, whatever. Biocell economic oppression of Israelites. IUIC interprets this as economic control. Israelites being restricted unless they conform historical and modern realities. Slavery, Jim Crow, redlining, mass incarceration, corporate exploitation. Well, anyway, if you want to, how do you explain? Because they say that some of us got the mark already. Well, how are you able to buy and sell? Contrast. Let me jump down. Contrast, mark of the beast versus seal of God. Let me see. Okay, let me see. Compare USC, IUIC versus GMS versus Christians. Let me do this. I got something on the stove, so let's go ahead and ask this. Let's go. Okay. So I asked a question. Below is a clean side-by-side comparison of how IUIC, GMS, and mainstream Christian futurists interpret the mark of the beast. Okay, topic, beast, East IUIC, Esau, Edom, European power system. What does that mean? That's vague. GMS, Esau, Edom, same system. Future Antichrist. Time frame, past, present, ongoing, present, accelerating, end, mostly future. Mark, symbolic, primary, GMS, primarily symbolic with future enforcement. Mind, IUIC, forehead, mindset, belief, mind, doctrine. That's wrong on that, mind, doctrine. Literal. Right hand action, labor, works, but they're going off. They're going off. Buy, sell, economic oppression, future economic control, and current trends. Microchip rejected. Mostly rejected? No. Often affirmed. So they don't got the right information here. Let me see. GMS fused. Nature of the mark, primarily symbolic now, literal enforcement, likely later, often taught as compliance with Esau's system, possibly evolving future tech, ID, digital currency. They're not going to say nothing about implant. GMS leaves room for mandatory system, leaves room for mandatory system, digital control mechanism, which is the chip, economic Tracking, hand and forehead same symbolic as IUIC. Nope, nope. Buying and selling future emphasis. You know what this is going to affect too? A lot of you weak-minded Israelites that don't know what's going on, that blindly following your masters. Okay, beasts of future worlds. Leader on UN. Hand for. Then you have to give me the information. Emphasis. Avoid the mark. Watch end time signs. Okay, scripture. IUIC. GMS. Futurist symbols. They're giving you a lot of BS. Okay, biggest differences. Symbolic versus literal. IUIC 100% symbolic. 100% symbolic. GMS symbolic. Enforce reality, which is a chip. Who controls the mark? IUIC. Anyway, that's it. Shalom. On to the next.